Hey there, Christy Daniels here with an orientation for you on emotional freedom technique, or also known as EFT or tapping. So this is a mind-body tool that I use with many of my clients, and it's helpful to have an understanding for what we're doing with EFT, why we're doing it, and how we do it. So I want to give you this orientation so that you're prepared and you have this awareness before we step into a session and focus on the specific subject that we'll focus on, whether that is a custom session that we're doing together one-on-one. It's very targeted toward you, or a group session where we're kind of gathering a specific target and subject to work together, or if you're following along with a pre-recorded session. In either case, I'm going to share the information that you'll need to know to jump into one of those formats and really get the most out of it. So the first thing is, what is EFT? So it is a mind-body tool that's been proven to help reduce anxiety, reduce the effects of stress, to calm the nervous system down. And it's used in a variety of different ways. It's been used to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. It's been used to address physical issues in the body. It's been used to address emotional issues. And the way that I have been trained to use EFT is relating to the topic of money, called tapping into wealth. And so we use top money as an entry point, but we're really addressing the underlying connections there about deserving, about receiving, about our worth, our value, the way that we show up in the world, our visibility or our invisibility, our inner criticism and perfectionism, hidden agendas. There's just a whole host of things that we can get to by using the entry point of money. And so it's a very versatile tool. It can be used in a planned setting, such as the sessions that we'll be doing, or it can be used as an in-the-moment tool when emotion arises for you and you use tapping to calm yourself down, to really honor what's happening, what's coming up, and as well as give yourself access to your higher level thinking. So that's a little bit about what it is. The basis, what you should know about this in terms of where we're tapping and how we're doing it, it uses the energy system in the body, two main energy systems, meridians is what they're called, and it's energy pathways in our body. And I know that you probably are familiar that we're electrical beings. And so ancient Chinese medicine has used the meridian system to assist in healing and health. And acupuncturists use needles to address the energy flow, and we're going to use our fingers to do that. And then we have specific points that we'll use our fingers on that will send a calming signal to the nervous system of it's okay, you can relax, you can calm down now. So we don't actually say those particular words, but that's the effect it has, that tapping has on our nervous system. And it's a way of integrating, it's a way of helping our body integrate. A lot of things can be accomplished when you're talking about something that concerns you, but science is showing how we store memories, we store trauma, we store habits, we have habitual patterns that get stored in our body, and our body responds to potential threats and to stresses, and we sometimes are conditioned, those responses are conditioned for us, and being able to go in and interrupt that conditioning is really incredibly helpful. And it's something that you can get cleared and released in your body that you can't really get cleared and released in just a regular talking coaching session. And so quite powerful. A little bit about why we use it beyond what I've already shared. We have an instinct, a survival instinct within us. And thankfully, it's there, it's embedded, it's almost immediate. It fires off. You could think of yourself hiking in the woods and then coming upon a bear. Your body would instantly react and respond to prepare you to respond to the situation that's in front of you. So your amygdala would take over. Blood flow would go from your brain to your extremities, to your arms and your legs, so that you could be prepared to flee or to fight or to freeze in response to this threat. And even though we don't have these, we don't encounter a bear every day, but we have perceived threats that feel threatening towards us, whether that's your bank account balance, whether that's a bill that comes in the mail, whether that's a particular situation with a person that triggers you, or the thought of getting up and speaking in public. Whatever that is for you, whatever that perceived threat is for you, your nervous system is going to respond in a way that's similar to what I've described. If we're using the example of a PTSD, someone who perhaps experienced a traumatic event and then is no longer in that traumatic event that happened perhaps months or years ago, but certain scents, certain conditions, sights, sounds, smells, sensations, sequence of events may trigger that same response as if it was happening today. And that's a part about trauma, is that it's as if the event continues to happen. It never stops happening. It's as if it's happening now. And so the benefit of being able to use EFT in response to money traumas or failed goals, failed financial situations, anything really, money is tied to so much, is that if we're responding to a threat and our body's perceiving it as a threat, then just by nature of it being a threat and the way that our survival instincts work, our blood flow is not available to our brain and our higher level thinking. We're not able to access our highest level resources. And that puts us in a position of not being able to respond with our full self. And so what we want to do with tapping is to neutralize those nervous system responses. And what happens is the nervous system, we bring up a situation, we put you in the scenario, we go ahead and trigger as much as we can for you to feel what it is, for you to think what thoughts come, for you to experience the body sensations that you're noticing. And then those signals that are coming to your nervous system get conflicting signals by us tapping, and your nervous system gets a little confused. It's like, wait a second, I'm perceiving a threat, but I'm also getting the message that it's okay, I can calm down now. Eventually what happens with enough tapping is that this tapping response overrides and neutralizes the conditioned response. And it reconditions your body to not need to respond, to not perceive it as such a threat. And what that does is it frees up blood flow to go back up to your higher level thinking, and you're able to perceive things totally differently. You may be able to interpret a situation completely differently than you've interpreted it in the past. You may see options that always existed, but you couldn't see them because you just didn't have the thinking and the vision and your full self online in response to this particular subject. And so that's a big why we would use tapping. And the how we're doing it is I will walk you through the steps. You and I are going to be tapping together. We don't have to be at the same point at the same time, but I do want you to feel what's going on in your body. I do want you to tap on this particular sequence of points, and I do want you to honor what is coming up for you, what's most resonant for you. So here's an example of how it would go. So we would be tapping, on the points, and I would be saying some words and phrases. For example, I feel that. I feel that sadness in the middle of my stomach. And that may not be true for you. You may feel that sadness in your heart. And so rather than repeating back to me what I said, you would say, I feel that sadness deeply in my heart. Whatever's true for you. So you're customizing what's happening with your echo back. That's going to give you better results. And here are the tapping points. We start here at the inner point of the eye. You can do this side, you can do this side, you can do both. It's up to you. Doesn't really matter. Both are effective, or all three are effective. Sides of the eyes, under the eyes, under the nose, under the lips, and the collarbone points. Sometimes you'll see me go like this. It's kind of like shorthand, a really soft fist, just kind of pounding lightly right here on the sternum and top of the head. So those are the points. A couple of fingers. And so now you have the tapping points. And your job is to feel those unpleasant emotions, sensations, to acknowledge and honor the thoughts that are coming through, even if they're embarrassing or you really don't want them to be, because this is the way that we release them. This is the way that they get honored and acknowledged. This is the way that we move to that more positive place while honoring what really is true for us. So it's incredibly empowering. It's incredibly powerful as a tool, and especially when connected inside a coaching situation. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you in the actual tapping session that we do, and I will see you on the other side.